All right. Here we go, back again on the other side of the coin. All right, welcome back to the other side of the coin, ladies and gentlemen. Breaking news: Antonio Rudiger set to leave Chelsea. It is confirmed. He is not staying. It is done and dusted. All our dreams shattered. Some people are saying, look, it is what it is. We move on. But for me, we'll get to the nitty gritty of it. We will definitely get to the nitty gritty, all the details and whatnot. We'll look at what the Athletic had to say from Simon Johnson. We'll look at what Matt Law had to say in his latest article for the Telegraph. But let's start just the emotional side of things before we get into the whole nitty gritty. Ishan, I have to say, this guy under Thomas Tuchel became a superstar. This guy became a world-class defender. This guy was an integral part of our success in the Champions League. This guy is probably one of the biggest factors for us in this season, earlier in the season, where we were keeping clean sheets, not conceding goals, and making sure that we pick up the points. He also was scoring some very important goals with headers, started to score bangers from long range. There was a one banger recently. And more than that, Ishan, he became a leader in the back. He became a big time leader for Chelsea Football Club, for Thomas Tuchel, and a character in the football club as well. A very strong character. One particular player, Ishan, that you can rely on, who's going to take the game to the opposition, who's going to be grabbing the opposition by the collar. Literally, he did that to Luis Suarez against Atletico Madrid. I mean, as I said, before we get into the numbers side of things, Ishan, how do you feel about this situation that Antonio Rudiger is no longer going to be a Chelsea player starting from next season? You're on mute, bro.
I'm sorry. I said that it's really disappointing. I'm really hurt, by the way. And we thought that there was a spark of light. The talks were going down. Probably we thought that Rudiger wants to stay. He was showing he was showing some good signs, some positive signs. But at the end of the day, news came out that he's not going to be a Chelsea player any longer next season. So, uh, yeah, it's really heartbreaking. But then it is what it is. I think so. Uh, you know what? We thought that this season could have been his, probably, even if it's last season. We could have paved him away with the Premier League or a few silverwares here and there. But one silverware is there to up for grabs. FA Cup final. I hope we give him a good farewell. That's what we can do, because he's been amazing for us, especially when you talk about his tenure. Once Thomas Tuchel, uh, was introduced as Chelsea manager, he became a beast of a man. I think so. He's the perfect example, if you want to call, uh, of the statement "rise above hate." You know what I mean? Because this
Yeah.
was one of the guy who
Yeah.
everybody slandered. Everybody,
Bro, he
nobody
got
liked him.
abused. He got abused. And you know what, Ishan? I'm looking at the social media now. He's getting abused again.
Exactly, man. I mean, he does not deserve. He does not deserve.
No.
He did not deserve the abuse earlier on, when uh, about his performances, about him being just a below average player, and then came a phase where Frank Lampard tenure came in, and he was not getting into the start lineup well often. We thought that he was going to leave then, and he was getting abused then as well. And then came the downfall of Frank Lampard's era, when Frank Lampard was sacked as Chelsea manager, and it was reported that few players, including Rudiger, had some plans regarding getting Frank Lampard sacked, and there was all sort of talks behind the scenes. Matlow versus Rudiger, that saga also
Mm.
happened.
Mm.
In that sort of phase. Even then, he got abused a lot, and then came in Thomas Tuchel. He incorporated back to the team Rudiger, Aspilicueta, and the other seniors in the team, and then then we saw a rise of a new beast in the team, Antonio Rudiger. And guess what? Today, he's definitely one of the best defenders in world football. Nobody can chat anything about that. We know the fact that eh, it's just one season that we're talking about, but I mean not one season, it's been 2 seasons now, last season and this season, but he has been flawless. And it's a phase, it's a patch where he's a leader more than a good player. He's a character in the team that everybody looks upon to more than a performer. He is performing good, but the character that he possesses, we're not gonna get that. And I think so. I'm gonna miss that in Rudiger. You're gonna get good players even in future. We're gonna get good players. The club is
Yeah.
not gonna stop. If Rudiger goes, Christensen goes, Aspi goes, Thiago Silva goes, whoever goes, the club is not gonna stop. We had a John Terry at one point of time. We also thought that at that point of time that what would happen to our club once Terry leaves, when the likes of Lampard, Czech, Drogba, all these guys leaves. They left, but we still won a UCL. The club moves on. We're gonna get a good defender, but the character which Rudiger shows, the personality which he has, and most importantly, the peak at which he is at this point of time, I think so. We are letting go. One of the best defenders in world football, and we should have kept him, regardless whatever has happened in the past.
Yeah, absolutely agreed, man. I mean, it's not easy to find top caliber center backs. You don't have a plethora of top caliber center backs, and it's not just being talented. It's what Ishan said. It's the attitude. Rudiger brought in all these other factors. Not only he was an unbelievable defender, or he became an unbelievable defender under Thomas Tuchel, but it's that attitude. I mean, where can I buy that attitude? There is no price for that attitude. I can't just go to the market and say to a particular defender, do you have the attitude? Like, attitude is something, it comes from within. And that is something that we're going to miss a lot. Rudiger was a leader. A lot of people will say Christensen's not a bad defender. And maybe not. But the thing with Christensen is he doesn't have that fighting quality. He's not a warrior. He seems to give up when simple injuries and he's out for like 2-3 weeks. Christensen is one of those players that before a match he had a tummy ache and he pulled out. I still remember. I think it was against Brighton. He was in the lineup, but then he had a tummy pain or something like that, or stomach ache, and he pulled out. So, and I'm not having a go at Christensen. He's still a decent defender, of course, but he's not a warrior like Rudiger. You need warriors. You definitely need warriors in your team, and this is one that we're gonna. Well, he's gone. That's the thing. It's mad. In this market, Antonio Rudiger would have been at least close to 80 million, I'd say. I think he's an 80 million defender that is now going out for free.
Oh wow! You just gave another perspective to my mind, which I forgot. He's going for free.
He's going for free, bro.
I'm dead.
He's going for free. Do you know what I mean, Ishan? Like, you don't understand what a blunder this is. This is a huge blunder. And I know we're going to talk about the wages and a lot of these things. People are a bit upset. Or, he asked for a lot of, I don't know what he's, I'm not really sure, but we're going to read. Let's get into it. Live chat, thank you so much for joining. Nearly 50 of you guys are here. Smash the like button, number one. Get those likes up. We're going to have a very, very good discussion. We'll go and look at your comments as well. Obviously, we'll try our best to see as many comments as possible. But we're definitely going to interact. But yeah, smash the like button. If you're here for the first time, subscribe. I'm going to read what Matt Law said, ladies and gentlemen. Antonio Rudiger rejected new Chelsea offer of over 200,000 a week as he targets summer move. Chelsea believe their last offer was more than good enough, but have balked at the demand of the 29-year-old's representatives. Antonio Rudiger turned down an offer worth more than 200k a week to stay at Chelsea, with the defender set to leave Stamford Bridge in the summer. Telegraph Sport understands that Rudiger rejected Chelsea's huge offer weeks before the sanction placed on Roman Abramovich, which prevent the club from agreeing new contracts with players or making signings. Having already made an offer worth over 150k a week, Chelsea believe they had matched Rudiger's demands by making their last offer over 200k a week. But the German's representative wanted a signing-on fee worth over 10 million, plus agent fees in the same region. in addition to an even bigger salary for their client. Chelsea have not commented on Rudiger's situation, but it is believed the club felt their last offer was more than good enough and took the decision that the demands of the 29-year-old's representatives had become too high. With Andres Christensen already understood to have agreed to deal to join Barcelona on a free transfer, Chelsea's next owners faced having to make spending big on at least one new central defender among their top priorities. Rudiger is now expected to make a decision on his next move, with Real Madrid hoping to beat their Spanish rivals Barcelona to his signature on a free transfer when his Chelsea contract expires at the end of the season. The players' representatives have spoken to Real, Barca, Juventus, and Paris Saint-Germain and are set to hold one more round of talks before the German international makes a firm decision on his future. Manchester United are among those interested, but Rudiger cannot yet hold formal negotiations with Premier League clubs. The three remaining bidders for Chelsea hope to find out who will be selected at the club's preferred buyer next week, but a confirmed takeover must still be passed by UK government and the Premier League, which is likely to drag into next month. So we won't know of the new owners, and obviously there's not enough time. And we're going to touch on the agent fees and whatnot. Chelsea, though, had attempted to act well before Abramovich was sanctioned and the takeover process, and believe they have done everything in their power to keep Rudiger, who has been excellent under head coach Thomas Tuchel. Captain Cesar Azpilicueta triggered a 12-month extension to his contract by reaching a set number of appearances, which was allowed under the terms of the operating license, but the Spaniard's Chelsea future is still not assured. Azpilicueta has not yet ruled out a move to Barcelona at the end of the season, although whether or not new owners would sanction such a deal if Rudiger heads out of the exit door with Christensen remains to be seen. Tuchel confirmed Rudiger will miss the game against West Ham United through injury, and Chelsea are likely to make a new attempt to sign Jules Koundé from Sevilla this summer. Koundé almost moved to Stamford Bridge 12 months ago, and the Frenchman has remained on Chelsea's radar ever since. Ishan and the live chat, apparently he was offered just before the sanction 200k a week, more than 200k a week, and Rudiger's camp wanted 10 million in signing on fee and plus further 10 million for agent fee. And this seemed a bit too much. I want to hear from you, Ishan. Is that now in the border of where it is probably a bit too much, 200k plus 10 million, 20 million? I mean, do you sacrifice that for possibly one of the best defenders in world football and someone who's very important to Chelsea Football Club? Or do you say to yourself, that's a bit ridiculous?
It is much, but then isn't it just a one-time investment when you talk about agent fee? Isn't that only occurable only when the signing is
just one time?
happening,
it's just one time,
right?
Yeah.
It's just
so it would have been 20
one-time
million. So if you're going to sign Jules Koundé is probably going to be about 40 million pounds plus wages.
Plus wages and plus his agent fees as well. So that's also adding, right? So why don't we get this straight? I mean, the output that Rudiger is providing at this club at the moment is above what we're looking at. You know, these small things. You know, 10 million agent fee, 10 million this, 10 million that, 10 million tip. I don't know what's going on. Why aren't we seeing the output that this player is providing? I just don't get that. And you'd remember, Miss, it's, even last year we had this conversation around month of November, December, if I'm not mistaken. We had this conversation that Rudiger's output is being overshadowed by the amount of wages that he's trying to ask. Let's not forget the fact that his output has been immense. I don't think so anybody in Premier League has been better than Rudiger. Just compare his wage to the other players who are getting their wage in Chelsea Football Club, and even if you want to see the other clubs, you can see that Rudiger has been underpaid, to a huge extent. Now it's been it's been a high time now. Rudiger should have got a pay raise. Yes, it might be way too much. Just from thinking from this perspective that right from going from 70, 80, 90 million, we're jumping 70, 80, 90k per week to we're jumping off to probably 200 plus K per week. But look at the output that this guy has been producing, and look at the consistency that this guy has in his gameplay. We're just not throwing away money for fun. He's proven that, and we're just overshadowing the price tag. The price tag is just overshadowing his performance every single time, and every single time I've said this, Miss. His performance, the way he's playing, the way he's contributing to the team, he deserves that. Probably even if it's a one-time investment to give a 20 million to his agents and other expenses, give it, and compare to the amount that you're giving to Lukaku, and see where the 350K per week is getting into waste. Can you imagine, Miss, 350K per week, and this guy has not been playing? I don't know for how many weeks until he played for Arsenal. Probably a month he's not played.
And now we're
Being
probably going to
fit.
make a loss. And now we're probably going to make a loss with Lukaku.
Yeah. So where is that money? Where is that money? That money is going to be more than what you're going to give to Rudiger and the output that he's going to generate into the team. So why not save money from that perspective? Where is the money that you're giving into Danny Drinkwater, to Callum Hudson-Odoi? Callum Hudson-Odoi, 150K per week. How many weeks have he missed? Have we calculated? Isn't that a loss? And you're talking about just 20 million agent
Four
fees to be a loss.
4 goals in
4 goals?
3 years, 3 seasons of Premier League.
There you go.
I think Rudiger has more goals. Of
course, Rudiger has more goals than Callum Hudson-Odoi. And why don't we see those losses as losses, and these, investment as actual investment and not losses? Because this guy is definitely going to bring up outputs in consistent basis. Lukaku is not doing that. Hudson-Odoi is not doing that. Timo Werner is not doing that. Is Danny Drinkwater doing that? Is Bakayoko doing that? The list goes on and on and on. I don't get it why the board thinks this way, that if you give a good wage to a defender, big wage to a defender, it's going to be a loss. Whereas your bigger losses are coming through your, big money signings and apparently big names who are doing nothing at the club. It is madness.
It is mad, man. It is absolutely mad. It's a very good point that you said. And I'm going to focus on this a little bit more. When you said it's a one-time investment, whoever is the new CB, you're going to have to spend around 40 to 50 million anyway.
Yeah.
And here you're spending less.
Yeah.
You're spending 10 million on agent fee, 10 million on money on fee. So that's 20 million. And then you're giving him wages. Whoever you're bringing in, you're minimum spending 40 to 50 million. Plus, you're going to probably offer around 180 to 200K. So
and it doesn't even guarantee you is that player is going to be giving the equal output that Rudiger is giving. He needs to settle in, just drag himself into the team, start to play well, and then probably, I don't know, you don't even know how much longer it might take.
And you're losing a leader, Ishan. And you're losing a leader.
Oh, huge point, Miz. We're losing a big leader. We're losing a big character. Are you going to get a character like Rudiger? I don't think so.
All of this is money. Alex Abhishek, thank you so much for the super chat. Would you, Miz, offer a 230K contract for 3 years? I know Werner and Lukaku are on mad wages, but justified. After looking at all this, if I'm building a future, and some people are a bit worried about the age, Thiago Silva's 37 as well. Like, CBs can play for a long time. Centre backs, it's not like they exert a lot of energy. They can play for a long time. In fact, they actually get better by age. The way I would look at it is I would kick out a lot of players. Before I even think about letting go of Rudiger. And if I'm kicking out a lot of players, and if I have to pay this man a good wage, I would pay a good wage because he's one of the better defenders. I would have to look at the situation that this guy is one of the best defenders in world football. I don't know. A lot of people are talking about Koundé. I don't know if Koundé is going to be a hit in the Premier League. But what I do know is Rudiger is definitely a hit with Thomas Tuchel. So why should I change that? Unless Thomas Tuchel's leaving as well. Something maybe we don't know. Unless Rudiger knows that Thomas Tuchel's leaving too. Unless the players internally starting to feed that maybe Thomas Tuchel's leaving and that's why they're leaving as well. I don't know. But if I'm Thomas Tuchel, who's been saying that I want to keep Antonio Rudiger, and Antonio Rudiger wants to stay at Chelsea, and I know what a leader and what a top player Antonio Rudiger is, I would build around him. He's my leader. I'm keeping him. I'm sacking almost every single other ones. Like, I'm letting go of Alonso. I'm probably letting go of some of the attacking players. And then I'm reallocating my wages towards Rudiger. And then I'm bringing in the likes of Colwell, who I'm not going to pay a lot because he's just an academy graduate. Yes, he's had a stint at Huddersfield, very good stint, but I'm not going to give him a lot of wages. I would be smart. I would not create that Rudiger's wage becomes a precedent. You would have to do well to earn that level of money. Do you know what I mean? This is a really good comment from Dexter. Not really too much. 41.6 million of wages over 4 years, plus 10 million loyalty bonus, plus 10 million agent fee equals 61.6 million. We need to pay way more for a new world-class CB with Rudi's leadership. I mean, Ishan, look at this comment, man. This is bang on, this particular comment. It's absolutely spot on.
Yeah.
You're going to probably spend around 60 million on Rudiger over the 4 years, let's say. But you're going to bring in a world-class CB with his leadership quality for maybe about 60, 70, 80 million. And that's a one-time initial fee and then wages on top.
Exactly.
It's pretty crazy.
This guy's got my point. I mean, that's where I have one of the doubts in the Chelsea board, the way they're operating the wage structure at the moment, because they're not actually seeing the loopholes. They're not actually seeing the cavity in the structure. Yes, it seems like they're looking at it in this way, that offering a new contract needs to be assessed carefully. Yes, 100%. We should always assess that. But look at the player whom you're, offering those new contracts. If that player is sort of a player who's not being consistent, not being very important.
But one second. I'll let you get back into it. Yeah. Ishan, I don't understand this comment. Can someone tell me, how am I being negative, man? I don't get this. Negative at which point was I negative? Which particular point was I negative? I don't understand, Ishan, bro.
Negative for what?
I mean, what did I say that was negative? What have I said that was negative?
I'm sorry, this is so funny. What's negative about this?
What, honestly, live chat, what have I said that was negative? What did I say?
What is negative about this?
I think people just come in and they love the words negative. They love the words reactionary. They love the words agenda.
Mate.
What have I literally said that was negative?
Oh, mate. Nonsense comment, man. Nonsense comment. We're assessing the situation. Everybody is unhappy of the fact that Rudiger's leaving, right? And now we're assessing the whole situation, that how we've come to this point when Rudiger has to leave. What has been the downfall? What has been the ups, downs? What has been the back scene scenario? Behind the curtain scenario. We're just discussing that. There's no point of being. I mean, there's no negative conversation at all here. It's mad.
It's ridiculous, man. Alex Abhishek Matthews, thank you so much for the super chat. Lukaku's earning 325k probably because we were giving him 270 for a misfiring Werner. Same calamity could have happened in our defense. Give me one second. Let me just quickly read that. Just bear with me, Isha. The ripple effect could have happened in our defense. The ripple effect. I have to disagree a little bit here, Alex, in the sense that Lukaku and Werner, they were players that we didn't have any history of in Chelsea Football Club. It's wrong to give them that level of money, but we did it. But I'm talking about Rudiger, who's actually got more than 12 months, nearly 24 months of good football under Thomas Tuchel. and we are struggling to give him that level of money? I don't get it. I really don't understand. I mean, here's a question for the live chat and for Ishan now. Ishan, okay, Rudiger's going. Yeah, Rudiger's gone. It's confirmed. He's going. We now bring in a new centre back. Are you going to buy any medium, like average centre back? You're going to buy a good centre back, right? You're going to buy someone decent. Okay, let's say a lot of people are talking about, forget about Kunde for a second. Let's say Pau Torres, Villarreal defender. Very good defender, Pau Torres. Pau Torres' stocks are high.
Yeah.
Okay? His stocks are high. How much do you think Pau Torres is going to be worth? Minimum 50 million?
Yeah, 50 to 60 for sure.
Minimum, yeah? 50 million pounds, let's say, minimum. Yeah. How much do you think Pau Torres is going to earn? How much do you think his salary will be? Do you think he's going to say, I know you pay Callum Hudson-Odoi 120K.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to earn at least another 100K more than him, because if you're giving him 120, I'm Pau Torres, who's in the Champions League semi-final.
Yeah.
So let's say, argument's sake, bare minimum, Ben Chilwell earns 190K pounds.
Yeah.
Pau Torres, minimum, let's say 180 to 190. Let's say 180. Yep. Let's say 180. Yep. So you're spending 50 million on Pau Torres, plus agent fees, plus 180K. What makes sense, Rudiger or Pau Torres?
Yeah, and compare the output that you're bringing in here. Yeah, you've got a Rudiger, a well-established defender for Chelsea and Premier League, who's a leader in himself, who's got a character that we all love. He brings in goals as well. He just not plays well himself, but also anchors the whole defense. You know, he's an anchor in the whole defensive line. Is Pau Torres going to be that guy once he steps in from a different league? No. He might be that guy. You need to give him time. But do you have time with that amount sort of wage? With Rudiger, you've got that instantly, and you would have been tension-free. Probably you could have just thought for other options for Christensen. You know what I mean? In transfer market now, you got a lot of headache. You've got Rudiger out. You've got a Christensen out. Probably the two most regular starters of when you talk about the centre back scenario, alongside Thiago Silva. These two were the regular starters for us, please, and both are gone. Fine, you got a Chalobah, but you gotta bring in two new defenders, and I'm not even kidding, because if you consider Malang Sarr, you are a fool. You need two new defenders, and can you guarantee me that those two new defenders, forget about two, at least one, can you guarantee me that at least one of them is going to adapt and be that personality, be that leader, that Rudiger kind of a player? I don't think so. So you've invested, like you said Pau Torres, right?
Yeah.
You invest in Pau Torres and you invest in Rudiger. Which gives you more assurity of a better output? Of course, Rudiger
for sure.
Of course, Rudiger, right? So why waste your time, money, effort in just thinking about giving Rudiger this and thinking about bringing in a new player?
What guarantee do I have, Ishan, that Pau Torres is going to do well in the Premier League?
What guarantee? No guarantee at all. That's what I said, miss. That's what I said. Here's the difference lies, and this is where the board is not assessing well with the profit and loss scenario, and investing in a player. It just does not make sense.
Carefree FC, the person who said I'm being negative. Bro, we met his demands. Then he said, no, I want more money. How can you blame the club for that? If he doesn't want to be here, then he can go. Okay. Let's assess this situation a little bit. Let's look at it. And this is going to you as well, the live chat. But I'm going to ask Ishan first, and I'm going to see what comments you guys have to say. Ishan,
yeah.
Does Rudiger look like a player he doesn't want to be at Chelsea Football Club? I mean, can you honestly tell me he looks like a player he doesn't want to be at Chelsea Football Club? He every game I see, he's probably the one that gives it his best. He gives it his all. Every time he's kissing the badge, he's jeering up with the crowd, he's hugging, he's celebrating, the way he's high-fiving Thomas Tuchel, the way he's so upset when we lost against Real Madrid. Does this player look to you that someone who doesn't want to be at Chelsea Football Club, Ishan?
Of course not. He's one of those players, who feels like he's elated to be at the club. He's having his best time, and it seems like, he treats the team as if it is his whole family. You know what I mean? And as if he's playing with his brothers. The fact of the matter is, Miz, here, let's just break down the statement that he said here. That he said, "I want more money." How do you know that when the terms had not even been fixed yet? You don't even know the contract length. Every statement that's coming out in the article, you don't know how much contract length that he's worth. He wants more money, very correctly, and he very deservingly needs more money. He's been underpaid now for years. I mean, at least for the past 2 years, he's been very well underpaid.
Yeah.
Look at Hudson-Odoi, his contract wage, and look at it. Compare his output to Rudiger's output, and compare Rudiger's wage to Hudson-Odoi's wage. You'll feel ashamed of the fact that a person like Rudiger, who's giving so much to the club for the past 2 years, is being given that much wage comparatively to the other players. You know what I mean? So he very well deservingly needs that money. You know what I mean? Miz,
Yeah.
if he was
This is a very good point from you, Ishan. We have actually lowballed Rudiger for a long time. We have lowballed him.
Miz, listen. I mean, we know the fact that he's going into his very mature years in football, right? Nearing to his 30s. And you cannot debate with the contract length here. You need, if a player says, "I want a 4-year deal," just looking at the way he wants to perceive his career in few years, you have to give him a 4-year deal. A contract length also comes into the scenario where Chelsea is meeting his demands or not. If not, then doesn't matter how much money Chelsea Football Club gives to Rudiger, he's going to reject it. We are seeing a 220k or 230k per week rumors, even if it's a 250, 300k per week. If Chelsea is coming up with a 2-year contract, Rudiger's not going to accept it. Rudiger's not going to accept it. You know why? Because just after, if you come up with a 2-year contract, 3-year contract, just after 1 year, he knows the fact that this is going to be his last big contract, big term contract. Because he knows that once this 4-year contract is signed, the next contract he's going to sign is not going to be more than 2 years or 3 years. 2 years probably is going to be 2 years. If it's a very crucial scenario, it can be 3 years. So you cannot argue about the length of contract. The length of contract scenario also comes into the place. And when you talk about money, I don't think so. Rudiger is the only player who I can say with an open chest that he deserves more than what he wants according to the output. And comparing the wages that we've given to some players in our club, looking at their output, definitely Rudiger deserves the money, man.
100%, man. 100%. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. All 3 remaining bidders are understood to have offered Chelsea chairman Bruce Buck an ongoing role. If they think Bruce Buck is what is going to take us to the future, it's because of people like him. We are where we are. We are in this particular mud. Yeah, it's crazy. It is crazy. Look at this from Ray Allen. I would sell Cho and Ruben, both earning 120k a week. I mean, what is going on? Ishan, we've been unable to tie down Christensen. We've been unable to tie down Rudiger. Aspilicueta's probably more or less leaving. What's going on, Ishan? What's happening?
I don't know. I probably we need to settle up with the owners first. Yeah, but Miz, we need to bring up this perspective as well. I think so. You'll have in your list to be covered as well. But the ownership scenario which is going on might definitely have an effect on all of these contracts. All of these contracts, let alone one, let alone just Rudiger's. I think so. It'll have a massive impact on all of these contracts. Thankfully, that we completed Thiago Silva's contract before the sanctions happened. But even if we didn't do that, probably even Thiago Silva contract might be in sort of jeopardy because there's a huge cloud of uncertainty hovering around the club. You still don't know when the new owners are going to be selected, and then you're going to wait for the new owners to get onboarded and take over the club for full force. So a lot of uncertainty is there. But yeah, it seems like we need a huge resurgence in the whole centre back line.
Yeah, man. Some people are saying to me, "Oh, where did you hear Kunde would be around 180 to 200k per week?" I mean, it doesn't take a genius to realize that that's the level of wages you're going to give someone. I mean, okay, just ask yourself, when we buy Kunde, you really think he's going to ask for anything less than 150,000 a week? You really think Jules Koundé is going to come to Chelsea Football Club for less than 150,000? He's going to come to Chelsea Football Club for good money. He ain't coming here for cheap money. I remember there was an article from The Athletic last summer. There was somewhere around 200k being talked about. He was going to get offered around 200,000 per week. And that was off the back of paying roughly around 50 million pounds, which was somewhere around 60 million euros. No way a player of Jules Koundé. Ishan, Jules Koundé is a French international.
Yes.
This guy's not going to come to Chelsea for less than 150,000.
It's funny how we're perceiving the fact that we've already sort of signed him virtually. Still, that is also a sort of uncertain fact that if he's going to come or not. Once he joins Chelsea, what is going to be the wage? What is going to be the agent fees? Definitely is going to, that also is going to get inflated, because if we would have signed him in the previous season, that would have been better. Now, just like you said, got more starts in international, one more season with Sevilla doing pretty well in the La Liga as well. Whew. The price tag on Jules Koundé might just have got increased, for the past 1 year. So you never know what's the price tag going to be for Koundé.
Yeah, it's probably more now. Maybe Koundé is going to ask for more.
Yeah.
It's mad, man. It's mad. Some people are really thinking, I'm just looking at some of the social media stuff in Twitter. Some people are really thinking Antonio Rudiger didn't want to stay at Chelsea Football Club. It's mad. It really is mad. I can't believe that one bit. Let me have a look at what The Athletic said. This is what Simon Johnson said, ladies and gentlemen. Antonio Rudiger to leave Chelsea at the end of the season. Antonio Rudiger has decided to leave Chelsea and will make a decision on who he will join as a free agent next week. The Athletic revealed on Tuesday that the Germany international was going to make a choice over his future before the end of April. That put his chance of staying at Chelsea in real jeopardy because the club's takeover is not expected to be completed until May, which is very difficult for Rudiger because that's the end of the season. His contract will literally just expire. Rudiger, whose current deal runs out in the summer, has now made his mind up and opted to leave Stamford Bridge. The news will come as a huge blow to Chelsea and their coach, Thomas Tuchel. Rudiger, 29, has been one of Chelsea's best players for the past 18 months in particular and helped the club to win the Champions League last season. But Chelsea's inability to agree a new deal with the defender before Roman Abramovich was sanctioned last month has cost them. Chelsea's first contract offer was made last August, but the proposal was seen as something of an insult, with Rudiger already one of the lowest paid senior players on around 90k a week. Ishan, Rudiger is on 90,000 a week. Ross Barkley is on more money. Danny Drinkwater is on more money.
Isn't this a disrespect in itself? Isn't this the other players, miss? If it wasn't for Rudiger, if it was for any other player, they would have left straight away, regardless how much money they offer. Because this is disrespect in itself. Just 90k per week, and you're offering Ross Barkley more than you. This is a
It's mad.
massive disrespect. And also, backing this up, the amount of slander this guy is getting day by day had got earlier, and now after this news broke out, it's mad.
It really is, man. The amount of abuse he copped from our fan base, the amount of abuse, don't forget, we abused him a lot, a lot. We told him to F off. We told him to leave the football club. It did not help matter that Romelu Lukaku was given a base wage of about 340,000 a week when he joined from Inter Milan for a club record 97.5 million last summer. It took 4 months for negotiations to properly resume again, and two parties did get a closer to an agreement. The Athletic has been told that Chelsea, who were determined to make Rudiger the highest paid defender in their history, in February offered a 4-year deal worth 230,000 a week plus signing on fee. It was still less than what some other clubs were prepared to pay. However, with offers worth in excess of 290,000 a week made to the German international. So he had offers of about 290,000. Rudiger has been able to talk with foreign clubs about joining them as a free agent in the summer since January. Real Madrid, Barcelona, Paris Saint-Germain, Juventus, and Bayern Munich have all made contact in some form. Manchester United are also keen. But there was optimism at Chelsea and in Rudiger's camp that one more offer would secure his signature, because the player's preference all along has been to stay at Stamford Bridge and continue to play for Tuchel. His preference was always to stay at Stamford Bridge and continue to play for Tuchel. It is understood that Rudiger did not need the biggest financial sum to stay at Chelsea and was willing to accept a smaller amount than those offered to him by other clubs due to his strong relationship with Tuchel and the club's fan base. But since Abramovich was sanctioned, Chelsea have not been able to discuss contracts with anybody. There is also no guarantee over what the new owners, a preferred bidder is expected to be named next week, can afford and when they will be ready to discuss terms, if they're really willing to do it at all. So the new owners, there's no guarantee that they would have actually looked to do a contract negotiation with Rudiger and whether they were willing to pay that level of money. It is understood that Rudiger has not been given a time frame by anyone at the club over when discussions can take place again, and that uncertainty is a major factor why he isn't going to wait any longer. And he goes on to say, could Chelsea have done more to convince Rudiger to sign? Chelsea felt that giving Rudiger 230,000 a week was a significant figure and were optimistic it would meet his requirements. This proposal was made weeks before the sanction hit. But what made the agreement much harder to finalize was that Rudiger's agent wanted a large signing on fee for himself and the player. It is thought that would have added tens of millions to the overall figure, putting Rudiger out of the Chelsea's reach. The Athletic has learned that other clubs keen on Rudiger suggested they were willing to meet those demands at that time. However, Rudiger was still hopeful some middle ground could be found, and it wasn't at the end of the matter as it was concerned. I mean, I don't know, bro. I don't know. I mean, how do you feel, Ishan? I mean, should we just move on? Should we just move on? Should we just say that, look, maybe it was too much? I just can't justify it. When I see players like Lukaku, when I see players like Timo Werner, when I see players like XYZ earning so much money, and we paid large amount of fees for them as well. Lukaku was 97.5 million. Timo Werner was 50 million.
Yeah.
I just can't justify it, Ishan. I really can't justify it, but I don't know. Is it the right decision? What's your thoughts?
I think so. People would come up and also say the fact that generally it should be like that. That attackers should be paid more wages. It's usually paid more wages than defenders. But that's where my point is. Why is it so? Why isn't, I mean, the amount of output that defenders generate? I mean, fine, it's comparatively low. That's why probably we see defenders, go into the age and then still carry on playing, just like we're seeing Thiago Silva play. But then still, why is it that? Why isn't meritocracy a thing? I know that we shouldn't be crossing that, that bar of paying defenders more than attackers, but then still, look at the output and look at the amount of commitment that one player, be it a defender, be it a midfielder or attacker, doesn't matter. Look at the amount of output that one player is giving to the club, and then why not decide the wage accordingly? With this, I would like to again comprehend and just point out the wage that we gave to a wage and the contract we gave to Callum Hudson-Odoi. How was that justified? That was not justified at all. So we should be, before handing out contracts, just because he's an attacker does not mean he'll be handed out some mad wages. Just count the number of goals he scored for us. I'm talking about Hudson Odoi here. Talk about Barkley. Yes, he's a midfielder again. Should be given more wage than a defender. Uh, I'm I'm sure that Rudiger scored more goals than Ross Barkley in Chelsea Football Club, or probably the other defenders scoring more goals than him. So why is this difference here? And a player gives his effort to the team relentlessly, and not just that, but the achievements that we've got through Rudiger, it's massive. Why don't we see that? We've overlooked that. It is what it is. Now we're in a point where he's going to leave. But the thing is that means, I mean, what else we got to do? Isn't it that it's just unfortunate? We could have probably sorted this out before the sanction. You mentioned it in our last watch along, the game we were watching in Arsenal versus Man United watch along. You mentioned it that we could have probably sorted this out in before the sanctions. You know what I mean? But it did not happen. If you're already about to give something around 230, 240K per week, why not give it before your sanctions? You would have signed it, Mace. Because then this whole sort of uncertainty hovering around the club was not there. He would have signed it easily. Now you have this whole ownership scenario coming in, clubs in sanction. You never know what's gonna happen. New owners, when they're gonna come in, they're gonna get onboarded. You never know that. So there's a huge, huge, huge cloud of uncertainty, and I don't, and I think so. This also has a huge impact on the current Rudiger contract negotiation scenario. It definitely has to have, because we knew the fact that at one point of time, before the sanctions, things were going a little bit more steadier. It seemed like
Yeah.
Rudiger would stay, as far as I remember. Now the sanctions happened after the club was sanctioned and our owner was sanctioned. Everything is on a down rail. Christensen, without a shadow of a doubt, thought to leave. Aspilicueta has got his contract triggered, new contract triggered, but then still there's a rumor about him leaving as well. And Rudiger, he, I don't think so. He would take the risk of this uncertainty, and even the length of the contract might be one matter. So things are complicated. Things are actually complicated in the back doors, man.
It really is. It really is complicated. Fallon, thank you so much for the super chat. Miz, I feel defeated, man. Not a good week. Me too, man. I feel really, really defeated. Hisham, Miz, if Marina doesn't leave the club, we are truly finished. We ain't winning the league anytime soon with her penny pinching. It's not just the penny pinching. It's being able to give the right type of salaries as well. I mean, Lukaku, Callum Hudson-Odoi, Werner, Ross Barkley, Ruben Loftus-Cheek. All of these players are earning money that they probably shouldn't be earning. So it's not the fact that we are just penny pinching as well. It's also the fact we need to make right decisions from here on in. If we let go of Rudiger, we have to be very careful who we're bringing in and how much we're paying them. And now with the new owners, I don't even know how much they're willing to spend. Dexter S. But don't forget, that's 90K base salary, doesn't include image right payments, performance bonus, etc. It's very plausible that his take-home pay higher than Barkley. Look, that 90K base, that was done a long time ago. So I don't even know if that included image rights back then. I don't think Rudiger would have a image right back then. Rudiger would probably demand an image right now. But back then, Rudiger probably didn't have a huge image. It's like Mo Salah now. Mo Salah is demanding a image rights clause now, because Mo Salah is a huge figure in world football. So I don't think that 90K salary that he was on initially probably wouldn't even include image rights. So I'm not even looking into that. Valen, we are in the same issue as United in terms of wages. Yeah, we've absolutely destroyed our wage bill. The board has blood on their hands, total mismanagement. How can you get Tomori and Gihi go without having your current CBs under long-term contract shambles? Yeah, that's the other thing. We've not planned well. Tomori's probably going to win the Serie A with AC Milan, and he's doing so well. Mark Gihi is probably one of the best defenders in the Premier League and the captain of Crystal Palace. I mean, let's talk a little bit about replacement now, Ishan. A lot of people talking about, we're going to integrate Levi Colwell. I mean, Ishan, Levi Colwell, surely he can't be a starter from the get-go for Chelsea football. Like, he's someone who needs to get integrated into the team, right? And he's a youngster. He's probably going to have mistakes as well. And then the fan base is going to be mad at him just the way they're mad at Chalobah. I mean, it's going to take a bit of time for Levi Colwell to really get in and cement his position at Chelsea Football Club. It's not ideal way to compete for the title next season if that's what we want Thomas Tuchel to do, right?
Of course, man. I really don't know what's this overhype around this youngster. You know, the more we overhype him, it seems like we're putting in more responsibilities on his shoulder where he's
we're gonna destroy him. We're gonna destroy him.
Yeah, it's so. Are we following the Arsenal thing, where the whole team is based around the youngsters, where they've got definitely they learn, but this is not the way, isn't it? There has to be experienced people around him. Yes, we've got Thiago Silva, but we've got nobody apart from Thiago Silva. So what we're gonna do after 1 year, 2 years? Levi Colwell still is gonna be young. He's gonna need a lot of guidance, a lot of learnings to be done. We cannot put a youngster who's never started for Chelsea, just go out there and fill in the shoes for Rudiger, who's been such a massive player for us. We can't do that. I think definitely there has to be new signing here. And
bro, Levi Colwell is 19.
There you go, miss. I told you that he's young, isn't it? He's 19 years old. Aren't we fools here talking about him trying to fill in the shoes of Antonio Rudiger, who's been such a massive player for us day in, day out? We're not doing justice to this young kid. I think so. He needs to develop a lot. I'm not saying that he cannot reach that level. He definitely can, but this is definitely not the time to just put the whole burden into his shoulders. So that'll take time, definitely. And as far as that goes, probably we'll have to get a new player. Even if we do that, you never know if that new player is gonna actually come up there and step up like Rudiger does every single match.
But people talk about Jules Koundé. We're going to talk a little bit about him. Valen, thank you so much for the super chat. We need to speed up Mount and Reece captaincy now. I mean, look, those two boys are developing well and will become even better next season and will become more of a leader as the years go on. I've got no issues with that. Dinesh, thank you so much for the super chat. Rudiger leaving it is not the end. Not backing Tuchel will be the end. Sell Lukaku, Werner, Ziyech, Jorginho, Barkley. Bring the loaners and new players. Yeah, well, Thomas Tuchel wanted Rudiger. So that's already we're not backing Thomas Tuchel. He wanted Rudiger. People talk about Declan Rice. Oh, why can't we get Declan Rice? Thomas Tuchel wants Declan Rice. Let's back him. Declan Rice is going to be at least 180 million, let's say. Declan Rice has already refused West Ham's 200k. How much do you think he's going to earn at Chelsea Football Club if we get him? He's already refused 200,000 from West Ham.
Huge point.
We're going to probably pay. So this is for all the people that say we should back Thomas Tuchel. Let's get Declan Rice. Declan Rice is going to be 80 million minimum. Plus, I would say he would be at least on 250k.
80 million? Wasn't he price tagged about 150 million when we asked David Moyes the last time?
Some people believe that no way we're gonna pay 150 million. So that's why I'm bringing it down. Okay, let's say 80 million, whatever.
Yeah, all right.
I mean,
and he's still a DM, by the way.
And he's still a DM. So we want Thomas Tuchel to be backed for that player, but we don't want him to be backed for Rudiger.
And now, Miz, does it sound right to give a 200k plus per week wage to a DM, but not a CB who's been so immense for your club? Does that make sense?
It doesn't.
Or
It
do you?
doesn't.
It, I mean, make it make sense if you're giving a Declan Rice a 250k per week and still he's a DM, you know, and he's gonna cost a lot as well. Yes, he's Premier League proven, but then still we're talking about wages here, so does not make sense to me.
We are willing to give Declan Rice, who's done nothing for Chelsea Football Club, probably a high amount of wages, but we're not willing to be looking at Rudy. It's just the whole thing doesn't make sense. Valen, I can see Tuchel begging for Marquinhos now. Marquinhos ain't coming, man. Marquinhos is signing a new contract with PSG, so that ain't happening. Let's talk a little bit about Jules Koundé, another player that is a option for another option for. Let me just pause that. As a replacement, 23 years old. One of my biggest issues, Ishan, look at this. He's not the tallest player, Ishan.
He's not. He's not. That's quite evident when you see a Sevilla match.
Could that be an issue in the Premier League when you play against, I don't know, Burnley? I mean, if they're not relegated, or even if you play against like Everton, you play against some physical teams. Would that be a problem?
Nah, it'd be a concern in set pieces, especially in the corners where Rudiger has been so immense for us, alongside Thiago Silva and Zuma. In the previous season, Zuma's gone. Now we're left with Thiago Silva and Rudiger, and sometimes Chalobah chips in.
Just quickly, Ishan. When you mentioned Zuma, Jules Koundé struggled a bit against West Ham in the Europa.
Yeah.
The height was an issue against West Ham.
Oh, West Ham players are tall. They probably all the players are tall. Oh my days. I mean, yeah, I think so. It would affect, but I think so. We would need better aerial dominance when we talk about centre backs. And I don't think so. Jules Koundé might be the one, but then it is what it is, man. I don't know what our scouts are doing, Miz, but I'm really not sure about this, because if we are perceiving Jules Koundé as a replacement for Rudiger, I don't find every aspects with a green tick when Jules Koundé is being replaced by Rudiger. I think so. There are lots of gaps which are going to stay.
Alex Abhishek Matthews, thank you so much for the super chat. TT is an excellent swimmer, but CFC is asking him to swim in shit. 100%. West Ham done Koundé over. What a joke. I mean, I actually saw that. Look, I rate Koundé, but it's not a guarantee. Most teams struggle against West Ham in set pieces. Okay, so that doesn't give me confidence. Like, what I'm trying to get to is Koundé going to be a hit in the Premier League? Is he going to be a hit? I don't know. Koundé is a replacement for Caesar, not Rudiger. What position will Koundé play? Is he actually going to play in the centre-back position, in one of these positions? I just don't know, man.
Are we going to go with the... Miss, it depends on... If you're going to go with the back four, I really don't think so. That's a good idea, because we definitely would struggle aerial-wise. I think so. We definitely would. Probably Jules Koundé was scouted by our great scouts by thinking about the back three scenario, and Koundé being a replacement in one of the two sides of the center half, either the left side or the right side. Definitely not the center back, but either the left side or right side. Probably the left side, because he's left-footed apparently.
Jules Koundé is right-footed, bro.
Oh, he's right-footed. So yeah, the right side is center back.
Yeah, RCB. I think this is what Shubro is saying as well. He'll be a RCB
Yeah,
or a
there you go.
RB. I've definitely seen him play right back for France. I've seen him play right back for France. And I think I've seen him play as a right CB, right, like in a back four for Sevilla as the right-sided centre back. Um, but I don't know, Ishan, man. I don't know whether, as you said, like is he in the same caliber as Rudy? I'm not talking about because Rudiger plays as LCB. I get that, but I'm talking about is Jules Koundé, Ishan, the same in the same caliber or in the same stratosphere as Rudiger?
No, absolutely not, man. Rudiger, as things stands, Rudiger is definitely one of the best in the world. You know what I mean? Jules Koundé is not as simple as that. Can he be one of the best in the world? Time will tell that. But as things stands, the traits that Rudiger has shown, for the past couple of seasons, it's really difficult to find a player like Rudiger. I don't think so. Even if we go and buy anybody, I really don't know whom else we are scouting. Probably a Delict or a Nicolas Sule, or I don't even know whom we are scouting
Well,
anymore.
Nicolas Sule has gone to Dortmund. I think he's definitely going to Dortmund.
Yeah,
That's done
so
and dusted.
whomever we are scouting is, I don't think so. That player might fill up the traits that Rudiger possesses at this point of time. So
I don't even
it's a
think
loss for us.
as I don't even think our scouts are working at the moment. There is no owners, so they're
Yeah,
probably on holiday. Well, they've always been on a holiday, so
I hope they
now
find
they're
other.
even.
I hope they find other jobs, some other jobs.
Valan, there's not a lot of good ball playing LCB around. Yeah, agreed. There isn't a lot of good
So miss,
ball
just
playing
just
LCB.
just focusing a bit more on this point. Yeah, when we perceive that we're going to replace a Jules Koundé in for Rudiger, knowing the fact that he's a very very good ball playing centre back. Yeah, ball playing centre back. Do you think that we're going to even ahead in few seasons or probably in future envision the way we're playing with a possession based style, the same, absorb try to absorb all the pressure from the opponents and then go for a transition. Is this the same way that we're playing now? Is this the way we're going to play in the next few coming years as well? Because the way we're playing now probably is not the right way to actually win a long league like a Premier League. Do you know what I
It
mean?
definitely isn't the right way. It definitely isn't the right way.
So scouting a Jules Koundé, does it make sense? To definitely we would be continuing with the back three if we sign in the Jules Koundé. Is this going the right way? I'm not convinced. I mean not by the signing, but the way we are perceiving ourselves to play in the coming near future as well. Just this sort of pass the ball around sideways, sometimes cross it, inshallah. This not gonna work, man. I think so.
And
This
and
needs.
even as an output as well. Look at Ishan. Like our defenders, they score goals. Like
Yeah, it is our defenders who has to come out there and score goals. Forget about attackers.
we are losing a master of dark arts. Yeah, that's the other thing. Like we're not just losing a talented defender. We're losing someone who's got that S housery. Do you know what I mean? Valan, we will miss our next season top four place. Now, no way a new defense is able to immediately play together and keep numerous clean sheets, concede galore. That's the other thing. I mean, Ishan, we can't just expect a new defender to come in and we are keeping clean sheets after clean sheets after clean sheets. Like, there has to be some sort of a chemistry, yeah?
Yeah, of course, man, 100%. Especially for a team who's playing three at the back and possessive style gameplay, and we start to develop our gameplay from the back. It's so important to have chemistry on, or else we're gonna struggle. We're gonna struggle a lot with getting dispossessed time and time again. So it's very important, the team chemistry you're talking about. But at least for the initial season or two, we can rely on Thiago Silva to get things straight. But it's just that the new players who are going to get introduced into the team, they're going to have a lot of less time than expected. So they'll have to learn and get gelled up really quick.
100%. I think this is a player we need to look into, Ishan. Villarreal, Pau Torres.
Yeah.
191 centimeters, 1.91 meters tall.
Yeah.
CB, Villarreal, Champions League semi-final. Good evening. Under Unai Emery. Contract expires 2024. So at the end of this season, he'll have 2 more years left. So it's probably a perfect time for Villarreal to let go of him. Current market value around 50 million euros. This could be a smart one. Left foot as well. Probably could play as a left CB.
Yeah. Correct.
This one is someone we need to probably look into big time. I think this one is a very, very good shout. The other player that I want to look into as well, just want to quickly have a look. I think Pau Torres scores goals too. Yeah, at least he's got 4 goals in the La Liga, 1 goal in Champions League, 5 goals in total. 25 years age, so he's young. So look at Max Kilman. This is that Wolves player. How do you spell? How do you spell Kilman? So with the double N? So look at this. Kilman. Yeah, there we go. Centre back, Wolves, 24 years old, 1.95 meters tall, English, Ukrainian background as well. Okay, interesting. 16 million euros. And stop that. Left-footed. Ishan, thoughts on this player? I like him from Wolves.
Yeah, Kilman, he's been decent for Wolves. But he's been a very integral part for Wolves as well. I'm not sure if Wolves want to let him go. It's going to be difficult, but as things stand, he's good. He's a very good ball playing defender as well, you know, and especially I've seen that whenever Wolves had played 3 at the back, he looks very good. He looks very comfortable alongside Sias and Connor Cody. So back if we also
I mean, they're hard to score against, Ishan. The Wolves are very difficult to score against.
Wolves are very difficult to score against as well, and especially I've seen that whenever they play back 3, they look solid. They look very rigid, and Kilman is one of the anchors in a back 3, and he plays left centre back alongside Connor Cody being the centre back and Sias as the right CB. So yeah, it might be a good option there, but I'm not sure if Wolves would like to let him go.
I mean, if we offer the right amount of money, I think Wolves is a club, probably selling kind of club. Do you know what I mean? Like, they'll find it very difficult to ignore an offer from Chelsea. But yeah, I think this could be another option, along with obviously Pau Torres is someone that I am very, very keen on. Kilman isn't a leader. We need to get a leader. If we want to get a leader, then it has to be Pau Torres. I don't even know if Jules Koundé is actually a leader or not.
Yeah,
but we probably need to get Jules Koundé anyway. We need to get Jules Koundé anyway because Christensen's leaving. And probably Aspilicueta leaving as well. Yeah, this one, Bastoni. Bastoni from Inter Milan is a good one as well, actually.
Yeah, Bastoni is a good defender, yes.
Marvo has actually got some good ideas. Bastoni is a good one, actually. Yeah, Alessandro Bastoni. 23 years of age, 1.9 meters tall, defender, left footed as well. Yeah, Bastoni is a good one. 60 million current valuation. Contract expires 2024. It's probably a good time. Um, let's slowly start wrapping things up. I mean, Ishan, I guess life goes on, yeah? I guess life will go on.
Yeah, man, it has to. We never thought it would end in this such shocking way. I mean, out of nowhere, the news came out when we thought that the fact that probably things are getting neutralized and normalized with Rudiger's contract situation. We thought Christensen is gone, and which means that Rudiger should be staying, but that isn't right. Now both of them are going, so I think so it's going to be interesting to see whom we target. Definitely, there has to be a centre back target this summer, coming this summer window. But it just first of all, the owner scenario has to get sorted out. Once that is done, I think so we should be good to go for the transfer market. So, yeah, life has to move, isn't it?
Life has to move on. Life has to move on, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, yes, I'm slowly accepting the reality. I think obviously initially it's always going to be a bit difficult, always going to hurt. I'm pretty sure you guys in the live chat, you'll all agree we were connected with Antonio Rudiger. We loved his passion, his desire, his commitment to Chelsea Football Club. But I guess we all knew this was coming anyway to a certain degree. We hoped that it wasn't coming. But with all the craziness that we find ourselves in throughout this season, and now the big one, the sanctions, Roman selling the football club, it is what it is, and we just move, I suppose. We have to do a lot of damage in this transfer window, and I don't know. That's the question mark. I don't know whether the new owners will come in and replace. I mean, Ishan, there's a lot of players to replace, man, this summer. Like, this is not ideal for the new owners to come in and just like maybe it was going to be one or two players that they could think of bringing in, but they need to probably think of bringing in 3, 4, 5 players, man. Like, and they have to let go of a lot of players too.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is. I don't know if they're really like. It will take them time to understand Chelsea Football Club, understand what's going on, before they can even start thinking about scouting, getting new players. I mean, what should we expect, Ishan? What can we expect?
Isn't it mad? I mean, we prior to this we were thinking about bringing in a backup for Ben Chilwell. Yeah, we need some full back options more. And now looking at Rudiger and Christensen leaving, both leaving, we probably might need 5 players, 4 to 5 players, and all of them should be defenders. Including fullbacks and centre backs. Probably 5 players need to be signed, new players who should be incurred, because we have to have a backup for Chilwell. Probably letting go Alonso would require another player who's coming in. Aspilicueta, Aspilicueta might be his future might be uncertain. So him, another outgoing Christensen, Rudiger, 2 definite outgoings. So a backup for them as well. And we thought to slowly and steadily incur a backup for Thiago Silva as well, because next season probably is going to be his last season as things stands. So 5 players, probably 4 or 5 players, all should be defenders. Should we sign new players next season? And I don't think so that's possible in one transfer window, Miz. That is the worst part. You can't expect to sign 5 defenders in one transfer window. It's gonna be mad. You don't have players around the world like that. you know, you don't have you don't get 5 defenders in one transfer window. It's mad. So probably just to settle ourselves down, forget now just for a moment, forget about the midfielders and strikers that we want to bring in. forget it. We need to bring in defenders first, probably 4 to 5 of them, just to
And
stabilize the
and if you
outgoings.
play three defenders every game,
Yeah,
like
exactly, right?
we need backups like big time.
Right, backups. And not just that, we don't, this time around we had options, but still we saw what can injuries do. What can injuries do to the fact that we're playing Ruben Loftus-Cheek at the right wing back. What injuries
Ruben
can do to.
Loftus-Cheek against Luton was a centre back. Remember?
There you go. Right, so you don't know what's going to happen. We need to have a backup for every possible. If I as things stands, minimum 5 defenders we need to sign. I mean, center back and wing backs inclusively. So forget about signing wing backs or any attackers. We need to get sorted with our defensive line first. And I really don't know if that's going to happen this transfer window, because you don't even know if our club is going to be stable by then. The new owners, if they're going to get at least decided who the new owner is going to be until the transfer window opens. Once that is done, how long are the new owners going to take to settle down and get things running? That's another factor. So things are difficult, miss. I really don't know what's going to happen.
Balan, thank you so much for the super chat. After signing CBs, we won't have money to reinvest in fullbacks, DMs, positions. All this could have been properly avoided. Absolutely agreed. Absolutely agreed. I think Tuchel walks next season or he gets sacked. I mean, okay. Let's look at this in a Dinesh is saying, why 5 defenders, bro? Okay, let's actually look at this.
I already counted, man.
Let's say you're playing with 3. We will look at the 4, but let's say you play with the 3 CBs. Rudiger's gone. So who's your LCB? Live chat. Tell me who's your left LCB. Don't tell me Levi Colwell. Do not tell me Levi Colwell is your starting LCB.
And don't tell me Malang Sarr. You're gonna get.
And don't tell me Malang Sarr. So tell me who's your LCB.
It's mad how people are saying expecting.
You are starting Colwell. You want Thomas Tuchel to
start
compete
a 19-year-old kid
for the Premier League, compete in Champions League. You're starting Colwell.
A 19-year-old kid.
That's a lot of pressure for a 19-year-old.
We were expecting Levi Colwell to come in and fill the boots of Rudiger. Are you mad? Are you out of your mind?
Okay, Chalobah. Okay, fine. Chalobah, fine. Chalobah, no problems.
Let's lock him down. Back.
Let's lock him down, Ishan. Let's lock him down. Chalobah.
Then who are you going to lock in for the right side?
We're getting to it. So let's say Chalobah as a left centre back. Who's the middle centre back?
Thiago Silva.
Okay, Thiago Silva. We played 63 games already this season.
Yeah.
How many is Thiago Silva playing?
Good point. Who's the backup going to be?
Even out of 60. Out of 60. Okay, let's say we play 60 games next season. How many is Thiago Silva playing?
I don't know. Probably max to max. 40, 35.
Okay, 40. So who's playing the other 20? Who's playing the other 20?
I don't know. Thomas Tuchel? Because these guys, I don't know, they're saying Colwell to fill in for Rudiger. I'm sure these guys might come out and say play Thomas Tuchel.
So I don't know. I don't know who's going to be the backup for Silva. Okay. Now let's talk about RCB. Jules Koundé. A lot of people are saying Jules Koundé. Now, my man, this is a hope. This is hoping that the new owners come in and actually buys Jules Koundé.
Yeah, and you buy Jules Koundé, but you need a backup as well. What if a misfortune injury happens? What happens? Who plays then?
Someone saying
Aspie. Back and plays as a defender.
Some people are saying Aspie. Okay,
but what if Aspie leaves? What if Aspie leaves? You never know.
Let's assume he doesn't leave. There's a lot of assumptions, Ishan. There's a lot of assumptions.
Wow.
We are assuming Koundé is 100% coming to Chelsea Football Club. Who said? But anyway, let's say he is. Okay, so we've got Koundé, we've got Aspie. Maybe we've got Reece James as well.
Nah, let's keep that for right wing back, man. Come on, miss.
Okay, keep that for right wing back.
We've got a Thiago Silva and center back. Who's gonna play? Who's gonna be his backup? There has to be one backup. So you've already got one player who we need. Jules Kondo, we are assuming that we're going to get one, right? Fine. Who's going to be the backup for Chalaba? Are you using Colwell?
Backup for Chalaba Colwell. Backup for Chalaba Colwell. We'll
All
put
right.
backup
Okay.
because he'll be a backup player. Colwell will be a backup player.
Of course. Yeah. All right.
So you got
And
Chalaba.
that also is a possibility that Colwell goes out for another loan. You never know. You
We
know,
need to
just
do
saying.
this. We need to do this. This is interesting. Hold on. Let's build this. Let's build this, bro. This is interesting. Ishan, do you want to read out the super chat while I do this?
Yeah, when was the last super chat that you read? I think it was the nation who I need to cover. Dinesh Pillai, first of all, thank you for the super chat. Rudy was the best, but TT never play him in back four. Who said that? Who said that? I think so. The nation, if you see in a lot of games when we transitioned into a back four,
Yeah.
you might not see that into the team sheet. You
Yeah,
might not
but
see
we
that in Google formation, pre-team formation. But then you would see in game when we
100% in
transition into a
game.
back four.
100%
Rudiger
in game.
always is there. Either he's shifted as a left back or he's shifted as a right centre back.
Yeah, 100%.
Even in a
I
back four.
agree.
So we've seen Rudiger, and this season under Thomas Tuchel, he's been good. And not just that, we've played with a back four for 90 minutes as well in few games, and Rudiger has been good even there. So I agree to the fact that he's not been good earlier. Under Lampard, he was not good. But even once Lampard came, Lampard started playing Rudiger back. Miss, if you remember, probably it was his last month as a manager of Chelsea. He
Yes.
started playing Rudiger back in a back four. Rudiger
Yeah.
was playing well.
Agreed.
And once
Agreed.
Thomas Tuchel came in, I don't remember Rudiger put up bad games. Just leaving out some recent performances.
Agreed. Agreed. All right, let's keep doing this, Ishan. So we've got Chalaba in LCB, Colwell as the backup, Kunde as RCB, Aspie as the backup. Who's the backup for Silva? Live chat, tell me who's the backup for Silva. Ishan, who's the backup for Silva?
Get a new player, man.
So we have to get a new player, yeah? We have to get a new player.
Yeah.
Let me just get this super chat done first. Rudy couldn't wait till after United to announce this. Yeah, I guess he couldn't. I mean, he didn't really announce it. It was really Matt Law and all these people finding out. So let's say, I don't know. I'm just throwing out names because we haven't really even done this. So
just write a new player.
Outdoors or something.
All right, you're gonna actually, hypothetically, we're gonna build up our team.
Valen, thank you so much for the Super Chat Conference League. Here we go. Valen is really, really distressed. Okay, so I've thrown in Pau Torres, who we've not really even got. I'm just making up stuff now. Chalaba, Colwell.
A question to you, Miss, before we go ahead. We saw Chalaba as a probable, youngster this season. Yeah, trying to slowly and steadily get into the team. Be more acquainted with the chemistry, team chemistry. Start playing few games here and there, and probably be one of the guys, yeah, for the team as a starter, probably in near future. But this season was sort of a foundation, right? We did not put up that sort of a weight in him. And definitely he couldn't start for most of the games, right? So forget about next season for a moment. This season in the right centre back, what we did was that we had few players. We thought that Christensen's going to be the main guy, and then we're going to have Aspie as a backup, and then we're going to have a Chalobah as a backup. So what would we do is we kept Chalobah probably as the third option after Christensen and Aspie to start in the right centre back position, right? And then what happened? That's exactly what happened. We are seeing Aspie put in more shifts. Christensen had his time here, and Chalobah get in a bit more chips into that right centre back position. Do you think that Colwell will be given that responsibility to be that first rotational player, or are we gonna need another player who's sort of experienced? You know what I mean? If that's the scene, would you like to keep an Asar there? Because I don't. And what I think is that there's where I need another new player. You know what I mean? As a probable rotation player.
Like on top of Kunde and Pau Torres, another one.
No. On the left centre back position, I'm talking about Chalobah and Colwell. Because I don't think so. If you talk about the whole season, Thomas Tuchel is going to depend on Chalobah and Colwell, two youngsters, on one left centre back position where Rudiger was playing this season. I don't think so. There has to be an established, well experienced defender there. Do you know what I mean?
He's gonna have to. It's a good point because lately he doesn't even play Chalobah. He doesn't
Right?
even he doesn't even seem to trust Chalobah lately. Do you know what I
and
mean?
and you can't rely on a 19-year-old to be that first get-go rotational player. I know that he's going to get chance. I know that he's going to be a good player in future. I know he's got capabilities, but then you know what I mean, right? He's a 19-year-old kid. He's not going to be that fresh rotational player. There has to be some, at least an experienced substitute for that. For God's sake, we're replacing Rudiger here. Do you know what I mean? How heavy that player was for us. And what the two
Yeah.
names we're keeping here in is highly inexperienced. We can't rely on Chalobah and Colwell to look after us into that left centre back position throughout the season next year.
This is the thing, Ishan, that people don't seem to understand. Antonio Rudiger was a beast of a player. Beast. You're telling me Chalobah and Colwell makes up for his loss? You're honestly telling me Chalobah and Colwell will be good enough to bridge the gap on Liverpool and City in a 38 match season? We couldn't even do it with Rudiger. Do you know what I mean? Valen is saying Romagnoli contract expires this season. I wouldn't. I mean, Tomori replaced Romagnoli. Like, I don't know if that's actually a option.
So go ahead, Miss. Don't you think that we're gonna have to get another player in the left centre back position?
Unless you shift to a 4. Unless you go like this.
No, let's just keep this back three in our mind. Just let's keep this back three in our mind, knowing the fact that Kunde is a ball playing defender, yeah, and we're gonna get him. Just assuming that fact. Don't you think it's? You tell me, is it enough, Chalobah and
It's
Colwell, to replace the Antonio Rudiger?
nah, it's not enough. It's very light.
Right.
These
Exactly.
two,
Right.
you cannot replace Rudiger with these two.
Exactly, right? So what we are doing here is we've already kept in a Kunde who we're buying next season, Pau Torres who we think we're gonna buy next season, and
We're
we
not
have
even
to
linked. We're not even
we're
linked
not
to
even
Pau
linked.
Torres.
We're not even linked. We need another player there. So two already there. Chalobah, Colwell, too light. We need another player. Might not be that high level player, but sort of somewhat mid to be a rotational player, probably, or just adjust there. Three
Can't
players
be
already.
sub.
Yeah,
Can't be sub.
cannot be sa. I'm not considering that. Three players already. Yeah, and you see the two wing backs. Reece James is left all
What
alone at
about
the
this
right wing back
shout?
position.
I like this shout. I don't mind this shout.
Yeah, this is a good shout, fair shout. But where you going to play him? Left centre back? Please remember the fact that we're replacing Rudiger here, right? And from that angle, I'm talking here. Is it enough? I know he's good. He's had a decent season in terms of performance, but we're talking about Chelsea Football Club here, and we're talking about replacing Rudiger.
And we're
That's my
talking
point.
about competing against Liverpool and Man City.
Exactly. So that's what we're talking about here, right? So that's where I'm a little bit reluctant, or else I know the fact that he's had a very good season. Don't get me wrong.
Look, it's difficult. It's gonna
Isn't
be
it?
difficult.
I mean,
It's gonna be difficult.
isn't the equation simple? The fact that you have three defenders. If Aspi leaves, it's going to be colossal. We definitely going to need five.
Yeah.
If Aspi leaves.
If
You
Aspi
know?
leaves, and this is hoping Aspi doesn't leave.
Exactly, right? Aspi can leave. It's not that just because his new contract
And,
is triggered, he's not going to leave.
and Ishan, Silva is only there for another season.
Another season. That's my point, Miz. People don't understand that. It seems like we are only playing for the next season. We need to have a backup for Silva as well. We need to have a backup, good backup for Rudiger, which we are not gonna find in only Chalaban Colwell. They definitely gonna be a good prospect for us, but we're gonna not gonna rely on them heavily. They both together are not gonna fill up what Rudiger did to us. So we need players, and now talking about, we've not even thought about the wing backs. Reece James is left all alone in the right wing back position. Who's
Yeah.
gonna be the rotational player for him? We've seen the number of times he's got injured this season. Chilwell already down and out injured.
I don't know if Chilwell is going to come back at his best. I don't know. It's his
Ever, right?
ACL.
Exactly.
No
And
one
who
can
do we?
guarantee me that Ben Chilwell will be the same Ben Chilwell.
Yeah, and don't even talk about the options we tried and tested in the left wing back position. We've played a Saul, Malangsar, and Alonso. Chilwell was already there. Rudiger sometimes chipped in. Rudiger, by the way, looked like a left winger to me. But then still, we had lots of trial and errors there in the left wing back position. What does that signify? Don't we need a new signing? We surely need a new signing. We know the
And
fact that
bro,
Marcus Alonso is the guy.
And bro, in my recent truth bomb, I said Aspilicueta for next season should not even be a starting option for us. Like, should be at best like a player coming from the bench.
Yeah,
If there is
right?
any injury for Kunde, we are then stuck with Aspilicueta as being a starter for Chelsea Football Club.
Exactly.
I don't think we should get into that situation where Aspi is a starter for Chelsea.
So you just count, miss, how many defenders do we need, let alone the other players? How many
We
defenders
need a
do we
whole
need next
new
season?
set of defenders. We need a whole new set of defenders
We need a backup for Silva because he's going to be
for 1
his
year.
last season next season. Yeah, 1 year. We're assuming that we're going to get Kunde, so that's already two. Yeah.
Yep.
Rudiger's leaving. We need a centre back. That's already three. You've got the two wing backs. How many does
Christensen,
that count?
who's replacing Christensen?
Who's We're assuming that Kunde is coming up. So
Okay.
that's one. Yeah. So, and we've already got three as centre backs and the two wing backs. How many does that count? Five. Am I fluking here? This is
No,
serious.
you're
Man.
spot on. You're spot on, bro. You're spot on. You're spot on. Chelsea, sorry, Valen, thank you so much for the super chat. Get the Hernandez brothers, LCB and LB and left wing back. I think that AC Milan Hernandez, what's his name? I think he's signed
Lucas
a new
Hernandez.
contract.
Lucas Hernandez.
Yeah, Lucas Hernandez. I think he's signed a new contract, so he ain't coming. He ain't coming. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap things up. Look, we're gonna have to get Theo Hernandez. Sorry, Dinesh, you're right. Yeah, Theo Hernandez.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna have to get over the Rudiger situation. We have a lot of thinking. We need to do a lot of thinking. Aspilicueta should not be an option to start next season. Really shouldn't. Silva's only there for another season. Christensen's leaving. Rudiger's leaving. Yes, Colwell. Yes, Kunde. But we need a lot more. We need a lot more. Don't forget, we are short on wing backs. Alonso should not be an option as a backup. Alonso should not be an option. Like, we need proper wing back option. Chilwell, I don't know how Chilwell is actually going to come back. Right wing, Reece James. Reece James, he's got injured quite a few times this season. You cannot say that Reece James will play 60 matches. And Aspilicueta cannot be an option for a wing-back replacement. Yeah, lot of things to think about. Ladies and gentlemen, smash the like button. We're only about 27 likes away from 100 likes. Get those likes up to 100. We're obviously going to talk about this situation more. Look out for the preview later on this evening, UK time. I'm going to go to bed now. It's 1:17 a.m. Ishan, thank you so much for your time. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you follow Ishan on Instagram. The link is below. Yeah, tough times. We'll see what we do in the transfer season, but I agree with Ishan. We actually need a lot of players. Like, we actually need a lot of players. And I don't know whether the new owners are just going to come in and buy us players. It's as simple as that. Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, take care and see you. I'll catch you soon.